So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide you with a series of videos that's going to address how to photograph your work. And so this first video is going to talk about what tools to use and what to be able to do. Clearly, the first thing that I would recommend always is if you're going to shoot your work, take it to a professional photographer. Take it to somebody that knows about lighting and has really good equipment. But most of us don't have access to a professional photographer, don't have the means to pay a professional photographer. If you have a friend or a roommate that'll do it for free, absolutely take advantage of them. But if you don't, what do you do? And so, this is a question that originally when I started teaching this class, I had approached the Troy University photographer to come in and do a photo session, and he just said, I would totally not recommend doing that. As a matter of fact, what he recommended was that he did do a workshop with the students, but the workshop he did, which is the workshop I'm going to give you today, was really about using your own phone. These days, these cameras on cell phones, and I used to have a prejudice against them because I didn't think the quality was not as good, but these days, the quality and pixel rate on a fairly new phone is much better in quality than the point-and-shoot cameras that you can get. You don't have to invest in a 35mm camera to get portfolio pieces. So in this video, in a series of videos, what I'm going to do is we're going to photograph a three-dimensional object, which I'm going to want you to do, and we're going to photograph a two-dimensional drawing or original piece of some sort. And to do this, you can do it in the IAC, but because of COVID you don't have access to it, you can actually do this at home. And I'm going to demonstrate doing the photo shoot here in the IAC. The only thing you need is a fairly new a fairly new smartphone that takes really good quality photographs and takes photographs that are large, because what we want to do is we want to be able to optimize the image and we want it to be as large as possible. And I'll go into that later with how to open it up in Photoshop and see what the pixel rate and all of that stuff is. And the second thing you need to do you need to have some sort of light sources. I'm going to shoot indoors and I'm going to shoot outdoors for you, and I'm going to address that. But having pumping up all the light and having lamps, floor lamps and table lamps, and of course above light lamps is really important. So I would recommend you're sort of taking all the lamps in the house or borrowing some lamps and putting them around the work so that you have enough light for it. And the reason why it almost doesn't matter, how much, well, it does matter the quality of the light. You want to be able to pump up your light, but because we're doing digital photography, we could take it up into Photoshop and we could enhance the light, or we could change the lighting. And this is one of the things that we're going to do. We're going to go into photo editing using Photoshop and making sure that the work that you're photographing is optimal.